Greetings, fellow visitors. This is Upgrade Terminal, a Star of Providence fan cast. I'm Malachi.
And I'm Nick. Welcome back to the facility. Okay, so as we are recording this episode, just a couple of weeks ago, we had the honor of seeing Star of Providence being run at GDQ by our lovely community member, Lilac, aka Taylor. Say hello, Taylor.
Hello.
It's good to have you back on the show.
Yep.
Now, you've just shown the game at GDQ, but some community members may not know that actually you've showcased this game a bunch over the years, and that's what today's episode is going to be about, is talking about all of the times that Taylor has showcased Star of Providence, or at some point Monolith, and maybe reference one or two more extra things in there. But yeah, today's going to be all about just Taylor putting the game out there into the world. But first, as is tradition, we like to begin our episode by talking about something nice that happened to us this week. Malachi, since I've not let you get a word in yet, how about we start with you?
Sure, I'll start. I also want to say welcome back to the show, Lilac.
Thank you.
Yeah, so something nice that happened this week was the gaming world intersected with my real life work world. Which isn't something that happens very often, as I work in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a customer visit this week with a very big horse farm in Hokkaido, Japan.
Ooh.
And I was put in this position as I'm sitting there having dinner with them of whether or not I should ask them about the horse girl game.
Oh, the gotcha one.
Yes. Because this has been in the news a lot lately, because this game, I think it came out in 2021, but it's just recently exploded because Northern Line was streaming it on Twitch. And yeah, so for those that don't know, it's a gacha game that's based on like horse derby racing and specifically Japanese horses. So, but the twist is that in the game, they're not horses, they're horse girls. They have horse ears. I don't know if they have hooves. I don't know.
It's a very different definition of horse girl than I'm used to, because I'm used to hearing horse girls being like, oh, like this, 11-year-old girl who's really into horses and wants to. But this is like, no, like...
literal horse girl.
Which is a little okay, and this is a gacha game, and we have gambling. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a fascinating thing, and I think that's why we've been hearing about it so much in the news, because it came out a while ago. It's blowing up now, and it's such a weird premise, right? There's also an anime that was made for it. I think the game is based on the anime. So anyway, the reason I wanted to ask these horse farmers from Japan about this was because it's having a real world impact in that, one, not just in the US, but in Japan as well, young people are becoming really interested in horse racing because each horse girl is based on a real life horse, right? So then the other thing that's really interesting is people can buy, there's a service in Japan where you can buy hay and have it delivered to a horse of your choice.
Oh, and that's where you come in.
Well, people have been buying hay and sending it to these horses, and to the extent where it's like, hey, you guys got to stop sending hay. We can't feed the horse constantly all day, every day. So it's just this really kind of funny real world, this video game impacting the industry that I'm in. And yes, I was trying to sell hay to these horse farmers, but that's why I wanted to ask them about the game. And I'm like, do you guys know there's a horse game? And I didn't want to say horse girl. I just said, there's a horse game that's really popular right now. And then they said it right away. They're like, oh, Uma Musume? Yeah, we know. I was like, oh, what do you think about it? It's like, oh,
it's great for business.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's actually great because young people are getting interested in horse racing. And it's just it was kind of a neat little moment for me. And we all got to kind of chuckle about how funny it is that Americans are obsessed with this horse girl game.
Yeah, I am not so sure how to personally feel about it, if I'm completely honest.
It's a gotcha game. Like it's like I have very strong feelings about gotcha games.
Mhm.
I've expressed them quite a few times before, at least like publicly, about how I feel about gotcha games, any kind of loot boxes or anything like that,
Yeah.
and how inherently like predatory they are.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, like yeah, there's the advantage of having a real life impact on these uh, horse racing basically, and the business behind it.
Mhm.
Though
Yeah, but
also the business
the
behind horse
yeah, I
racing
was gonna
is
say.
also gambling.
Yeah, so it's like you're either gambling on fake horse girls or you're gambling on real horses. None of these
Yeah,
seem very good.
it's still really funny, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and to be clear, this is not an endorsement of the game,
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
but it's just an interesting little wrinkle,
Mhm.
gaming bleeding over into the real world in a way I never would have expected.
Yeah,
that's certainly true.
it's certainly true.
Yeah. Nick, what about you? What's something nice that happened to you this week?
Uh, I more so okay. Uh, I have two small things. Number one, today I had like a just a lovely omelet. I'm just gonna tell you how I did it. So, the 4 eggs, like black pepper, oregano, um, dried black pepper, a bit of paprika, a little bit of
Mhm.
MSG,
Mm,
Oh,
and
that
then I
umami.
added grated Parmesan cheese and little bits of smoked mozzarella into the egg and spices mixture.
okay.
Then I took some white onion, green onion, and leek and garlic, sauteed them on a pan with lots of olive oil, added that to the mixture, mix it all up. Then into the same pan that you use for sauteing, pour everything in. On top, dice up some chorizo and sprinkle it on top.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was just like that was such a lovely meal. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, 100% worth all of the work and effort put into it. But I'm
mhm.
like, people know that some of my friends know some of my big passions are games, but also cooking. I just
Yeah,
love doing it.
Hmm.
So I'm just very pleased with myself with that. And secondly, and slightly more relevant to this community, this month in particular, post sprint, we have actually seen some speedrunning activity in the community. You know,
yes,
thanks to Dialix and Canaboy, who have been submitting runs. And I'm like, okay, this is actually interesting. We have something going on. I've been busy trying to get back the unseated world records. I've gotten all of them but one, and boy, Dialix is making it tough because he's like got a
yeah,
real good gun. But I also know that one of them submitted a seated run, which is Taylor's area of expertise. As
yes.
it
I'm gonna look
happens,
into that one. Yeah.
yeah.
But I've been busy. I've been busy with art fight. So once August hits, I'm gonna actually sit down and practice my seeded runs because I know I submitted seeded runs for another
Mhm.
event, and then kind of work from there because the current F7 seed that I have is not. I wouldn't say not viable. It is still viable. It's just it's on loop 0.
Mhm.
So that's not the best loop to be on
Yeah.
to speedrun.
And also, because as we're recording these, we recently had an update to the game. It included a lot of. There were patch notes, but there were also a lot of changes that were not announced, and I am worried that some obscure change that we were not told about might affect the seeds and how they work.
Hmm.
So that might be something worth like double checking. Like, is the
Yeah,
seed still the same seed I'm working with? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, Taylor between like Sprint and GDQ, which we'll get about shortly,
Hmm.
and this and a PAX West coming up. It's a very loaded couple of months for them.
I have been very busy this summer.
Speaking of Taylor, what about you?
Yeah, so I don't have anything this week because I spent most of this week like basically recovering and working on some art fight stuff. But
Yeah.
last week, I took an entire week off of my work to go to GDQ for my run. Like, I mean, I could have like just drove in because I live like several hours away from Minneapolis, where the venue is.
Hmm.
I could have come in on Wednesday, but then I was like, I'll just spend an entire week, and which was best decision I've ever made because that was fantastic. I got to meet so many of the runners and regular folk that I have been interacting with in the general speedrunning marathon communities.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Amber Cyprian's event, fast-paced events. I got to meet them and TGH. We spent some time at Mall of America, which is great. Mall of America is like the mall to go to in Minneapolis if you're ever dropping by there. Like it has an indoor theme park basically,
Okay
which is
then.
ridiculous but
Yeah,
awesome. Um,
that's
it
really
was
cool.
it is so cool. But we kind of hung around there for the mall because most of the time was spent at the venue itself because they've GDQ has massively expanded. Like they had the megas come in for performance, which I think
Mhm.
is going to be on the GDQ, or it should be on the GDQ channel now. And they had an artist alley, so there were actually like artists there, much like a convention, basically. We had
Yeah,
some
that's what it
artists come
sounds
in.
like.
Yeah, and some of the proceeds from buying things from the Yeti and anything at the Artist Alley were actually given or donated to Doctors Without Borders, which is the charity that GDQ mainly does the marathons
Mhm.
for donating. In the summer, it's Doctors Without Borders, and then Awesome Games Done Quick in the winter, which is in I think Philadelphia. Philadelphia, it's
Hmm.
one of the two cities in Pennsylvania. Um, awesome Games Done Quick does Prevent Cancer Foundation,
Hmm.
Oh,
and
okay.
as far as I know, since then GDQ has donated up to $50 million. Like from the past, like many years, they've done this, like fifty
Mhm.
million dollars to both marathons. It's amazing how much they have done. And then I think, let me just double check how much for Summer Games Done Quick 2024. I think it was like 2.4 million raised
Wow.
for the whole event. It's ridiculous and awesome and amazing that so many people have come together for this event to just donate to a good cause like that. And it has
Mhm.
been an absolute honor to be there and to run an event or do a run basically for it.
Yeah.
I never expected to make it. Um,
Yeah, because
but yeah,
doing a run GDQ was, for a long time and still is considered to be like the pinnacle of one's speedrunning like careers. Like you
yeah,
get to be on the biggest speedrunning stage in front of everyone, and you actually made it
yeah.
somehow.
This was one question I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
Lilac, is how many times did you submit to GDQ? Because I know you have in the past as well, right?
I have submitted twice before.
Okay.
First one last year, I think I submitted Chicky's Chase. I fully wasn't
Ah.
expecting to do it. I did also submit Chicky's Chase this year, and I think half the reason why that one didn't get accepted is because it's a mobile game and it's very hard
Mm,
um, to mirror
Mm-hmm.
and stream it.
yeah.
Even with the online marathons that I've done with the Chicky's Chase before,
Mm-hmm.
not easy.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of trouble with it, but Star of Providence is a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. It's just a PC game, so they know how to
Yeah,
handle those.
yeah,
What goes into the submission at GDQ? You send a video of your run?
yes, basically.
Do you have commentary on it?
Yes, what I typically do is that I submit a run, and then typically I do post commentary on it because
Mhm.
it's hard to talk and think at
Oh,
the same
sure.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the exception of this run, this current submission that I've done for PAX West, talk about later, um, which I actually just submitted one of my F4 runs because um, the other run that I've submitted that didn't get accepted was a seeded F7 plus T4 Temple, which
Ah.
already has post commentary because I submitted that for GDQ. A little trick that I like to do is that when submitting for an event, the best thing to do is to submit a longer run with like a lot more detail and into it, and
Mhm.
then submit optionally a shorter run um, because if it's liked enough, um, but they don't have enough time to slot in enough runs for an event, because a lot of submissions go in. I don't know how many for GDQ itself, but I cannot imagine like how much you have to go through to cram that many into a week-long event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big concern for GDQ. Like, okay, it feels like everybody wants to submit. We have a limited time, so we have to be picky about what we're going to submit or not. And like, generally, they like the idea of like, okay, shorter runs that won't take up as much of the schedule. Great, we love that.
Yeah, and then if you're submitting a longer run, you have to be very personable on the stage. You have to have good commentary. You have to be able to have enough energy with it and enough, and even with commentators as well, to just bounce back and forth and have enough engagement through hour plus long runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely there are some JRPG runs of like Final Fantasy. It's like, okay, we're gonna be here for many hours, so it needs to be worth the many hours it's going to take.
Indeed, yeah, because like that's money, that's donations.
Yeah. You have to be on, basically, right? Like you don't get to just zone out. I think it's great though that they manage it like that, just because I think that that's what's helped it be really successful. I'm sure
Yeah,
is they're like packing it so tight, and they want to hear your commentary and make sure that everyone understands that this is a performance.
yeah, it's basically a performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is something that may not be immediately obvious to people. It's not just you have to be good at doing the game fast. You have to be entertaining to an audience, and you have to be able to explain to somebody who's never seen the game before what is happening so they can follow along.
Yeah.
Which is different from what we do in Sprint, because Sprint is more of a community event.
Yes.
So the viewers at Sprint generally have some idea of what is broadly going on and how it works, so we can sort of leverage that. But at GDQ, it's like these are people seeing Star of Providence for the very first time ever. You have to be able to communicate to them what is happening, and especially when you're trying to go fast, so you don't have a lot of time to elaborate on these. It's just like, okay, we're moving forward with what's happening now and now and now and now. So for when it comes to that concern, Taylor, do you like to have a kind of script, or at least an outline of how the commentary will go?
Yes and no. For unseated runs, I tend to go mostly unscripted. Like the beginning and the end, I actually scripted my GDQ run for the beginning so that I could explain like basic mechanics, like the introduction to the game and all that, introducing Pure.
Yeah.
That's what I
makes
did,
sense.
and then I just threw the script out because when it's an unseated run, I don't have the luxury basically of being able to point out certain things at a time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier with a seated run because then I can be like, okay, I'm going to be doing this. This is why we do this. This is the mechanic behind it. But with an unseated run, it's like, okay, we'll just explain the mechanic when we get to it.
Because in a seated one, because in theory you know everything that's going to happen, you know the pace at which events happen, you know, okay, here we have a little bit of time to explain on this boss fight. Okay, I need to like focus on this, and maybe you need to pass it off to like whoever I got on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I will say the commentary, I just rewatched it again this morning, and the commentary was excellent.
Yeah, there were a few things. There were a few things that I missed explaining, and then there was one thing that we explained wrong.
Yeah. The server, a few people on the server caught the little wait, that's not quite right, but it's like doesn't matter, just
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Well,
we're not explaining F7 right now.
yeah.
F7 will be for next time.
Yeah. I think though, I mean, because you're just so pressed for time, so I'd like to explain something, explain the mechanics and everything, and what you're doing, and what the logic is going into the decisions you're making. Like, yeah, I think it was really concise.
Yeah, and being able to have enough time as well to kick it back to donations, because that's also another important thing in charity marathons, especially, is being able to like kick it back to donations, because that's kind of like the point of the charity
event.
marathon.
Donations such as Malachi's donation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glad that one was read.
Yeah.
Me too. I was it was so exciting to see someone I know repping a game that I love. That was like the first time I'd seen that in GDQ, you know? And I've always enjoyed GDQ, but that just took it to another level. It was
Indeed.
so surreal and so cool.
Yeah, and another thing that was pointed out that was actually missed because I told Pure to do the message.
Mhm.
There was supposed to be a donation hashtag, basically so that your donation would get prioritized. Pure did not relay that
Oh.
because it was hashtag sprint, but he did not relay that, which wound
Oh.
up being that AlexMdle's donation was actually missed, which is
Do you
Yeah.
unfortunate.
know what if Alex's donation had a message or something?
I don't know.
Okay, because I'm gonna say maybe you can read it out now.
I
It's
don't think
it's
I
not
have.
even.
I thought Pure posted it in the
Did he?
I thought so.
I
I thought he said it was supposed to say something like this. Maybe
Hmm.
not.
I don't recall if he did. I don't recall what it is.
No. I'll have to go back. I thought I saw that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Either way, Celebi.
One thing I would like to do is like, okay, obviously being at GDQ doing the big show is a very big milestone, but you have quite a bit of experience showcasing the game. So I kind of wanted to run through your history of showcasing the
Yeah.
game a bit. However, I do want to say one thing
Hmm.
for posterity. So this is, uh, first of all, the game was showcased at Flame Fatales, was a GDQ adjacent event.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. But before that, even in uh, SGDQ 2018, Monolith was indeed showcased
Yes.
at GDQ. And this would have been uh,
2018.
like pre Relics of the Past
Yes.
beta, even. Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yes. So there
It,
was a showing of the game at SGDQ 2018 pre Relics of the Past beta by a runner that goes either by the name of Studio or Big Honking Burger.
hmm
Now the
Yep.
thing is, this person they showcased the game and they did a good job, but I remember at the time I was still on Twitter and I was like trying to get in touch with them because this was someone who was basically unaware that there was a community, a Discord server for this
Yes.
game. This was someone who was completely disconnected from the game at large. And I was like
hmm
trying to reach out, hey, we have a Discord server, we have everything, like trying to bridge together the fact like this game showcases GDQ, but like it's not representing the community. That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why Taylor's showcase is a big deal for us. It's not
Yeah.
just the games at GDQ, it is a member of the community that is well known, that is beloved, that is respected, and that knows the people who are helping making the community better.
Yes.
So I do want to say it for the record, yes, this game was a GDQ before as Monolith, but this was kind of, it was it was a bit of an isolated thing.
hmm Yeah, and to kind of expand on that, Big Honk Converter submitted, I think it was an F5%
Intense.
intense run, which looked amazing. It was a really good run.
Hmm.
And the funny story about that is that I remember talking, or I remember being on Extinct and Punchy stream. For
Hmm.
those who don't know, Punchy is the one who got the speedrun board on to speedrun.com for
Hmm.
Monolith, back then known as Monolith.
Yeah.
Punchy actually commented that um, they actually did not. They were going to submit
Hmm.
Monolith back then, but they decided against it because they weren't even sure if it was even going to be accepted.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, and then Big Honkins got accepted. But Punchy back then was a little bit more like known in the community as a variety speedrunner.
Hmm.
Punchy now does. I don't even know what Punchy does right now. Punchy they
They
do a lot of
do a lot. They do some Resident Evil,
yeah
some Silent Hill in
yeah
particular. They also are a bit of a variety streamer. They also do some very cool videos on YouTube about interesting topics. I highly recommend checking them out.
mhm,
That's the reason I know Punchy is because Punchy is the reason we have this speedrun.com boards,
mhm,
and also I think one of the earliest seeded runners in the game.
yeah
Yeah. So this is just to establish this was the history, but this was before I think Taylor was even playing the game because I
yeah.
think you didn't have then a machine for the game.
Yeah, back then I had a MacBook, which unfortunately Star of Providence is not compatible with Mac OS based devices.
Mhm.
They have a Linux build and a Windows build, and that's it. And then I think around 2019ish, when I moved up north for the first time, I got a Windows based laptop, really crappy one.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit about that because that's really funny.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but
but we've acknowledged sort of the precedent before Taylor got involved. So
yeah,
Taylor, you've done GDQ, you've done Flame Fatales, you've done fast-paced events, you've done Power Up with Pride. Do you know which one was the first one?
first one was Power Up with Pride.
Okay.
So basically, the story behind that is that I've been active in TGH's community for a while, TGH, and then I think it was in the early areas of the Calamity Mod community. Not particularly like evident there, but mostly because I followed a little bit of Hectic, who did a fantastic run of Spelunky and was on the couch for the Bellator run this year for SGDQ. Absolutely amazing runner. Um, but he did a lot of speed runs, and that's how I kind of got into it between TGH and Hectic. And that's when I followed Amber Cyprian, who started their own charity marathon, basically fast-paced events. I think in 2019 or 2020, I don't remember. But then back then, I was like, sure, I'll go ahead and volunteer for that and submit a run. So that's when I got the first Star of Providence Relics of the Past run. I think it was an F5 run. I had Squega and Runkley, I think, on commentary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, back
Um,
when those two were more active in the community. It's been a while since they've
yeah,
Ronkley showed up for sprint once. Squega said hi, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, but back then, because we were back then, monorail was still a fresh thing.
hmm
They were like much more visible as community members, so it
yeah,
made sense back then for them to be the co-commentators.
hmm yeah. And then the following marathon, it was another fast-paced events run.
Was that the one in which Pure and I were your
Yes,
co-commentators?
and we were doing it way, 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 way early in the morning.
What time was it for you? I forget.
3 a.m., I think.
Yeah,
It
Oh
was
my
quite
goodness.
early. But yeah, that was the one that we did a 24-hour run, and then we decided after that, never again. It was absolutely hectic. We did not have enough staff members to actually like go through everything. I didn't have my computer at the time, or my Beast computer basically at the time, so I wasn't restreaming or helping restream. So it was like I think only 3 or 4 restreamers, which is yeah, not doing that again. But it was probably the one that had the most donation pool in for that one. It was a special event for the only kid.
after that, was that when we had got Flame Fatales with Kalaria?
Yes. After that, Kylaria and I, back before I switched my pronouns, reiterating that, we both decided to submit a race for Flame Fatales. 2020?
Uh,
I don't remember.
2020. So in 2021, Kalaria ran Flame Fatales on their own, and then in
Mhm.
2022, Relics of the Past was a race between you and
Yes.
Kalaria with commentary by Kat and Lore.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I have my notes here.
perfect. Thank you. I don't have my notes, so. Um, but yeah, we did a race. That one actually was a pretty good race for Relics of the Past.
hmm It was a good in between race after
Mhm.
monorail because they kind of stopped by that point.
Yeah, I stopped submitting specifically Star of Providence um, because around that time, I think it was I was beta tester or became a beta tester,
hmm
and decided I'm just going to hold off on submitting for events until the update came out.
So 2025.
Yep, and then 2025 happened. Yeah, but between that, I think it was on and off. I would submit Chiggy's Chase, which was the other speed run that I did. I did submit what's the run? Um, the Night Bitch. Back when I was
Yes.
running that one, except I burnt out hard on that one
hmm
because it's a 2-hour run. and
Ooh.
I was the only person doing the speed runs for that one. So I
Mhm.
was routing everything myself,
Mhm.
and I did not have the time nor the energy to start glitch hunting and stuff like that because I feel
Yeah.
like that game I could cut. Well, I'll talk. I'm not going to talk about it, but I feel like I could cut more time from that if I could figure out how
I
to.
enjoyed watching the streams of the Night Witch because it kind of felt like seeing like the speedrunner brain being like, "Ooh, how can I improve this in real
Yeah.
time?"
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, when Taylor did those showcases of Chiki's Chase, I was the
Yep.
co-commentator because I also happened to own that game and play it. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
I think I tried to get David Fu on commentary, but that didn't exactly work out very
Mm,
time wise for them.
yeah.
Can you actually? Is there an end game to Cheeky's Chase? You can beat the
No.
game.
No, you just
No.
reach a goal. You just reach a certain distance. And you're like,
Okay,
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 you're
okay.
done.
That's it. Hmm.
I was gonna say I think it's an endless runner, right?
It
It is an
is.
endless runner, technically endless.
It will glitch out at one
It will
point.
glitch out on like 45,000 kilometers, I
A
think.
bit more than a marathon's worth.
Yeah. We call them marathon runs because of that. It's really
Oh, that's
funny,
cool. Okay.
Mhm.
um, but after that, it was kind of a dry spell for submitting events for me, at least. I would continue to not donate, uh, do volunteering, at least for the online events, because then I can uh, get some experience on that. Chat moderating, restreaming has become a particular passion for me. And then this year, I decided to go ahead and extremely quickly because GDQ submissions were like in March.
And the update came out in February.
Yeah, so I had to rush to find a good seed to do a seeded submission, and then for giggles, I decided I'm just going to do an F6 submission because I felt like at that time, after my disastrous runs at monorail back then, I was a slightly better runner for F6.
Yeah, but that
Uh,
was like at that point it'd been almost not quite 4 years since you'd
yeah.
done that.
Hmm. So I've gotten a little bit better, I would like to think.
Yeah. It's also just like it's not a new game, but it's a slightly different game with IO kind of rebalancing
Yes.
and tweaking a lot of things. So
Hmm.
maybe I don't know if this is true for you, but maybe you just like the feel of the game better now and you feel more inclined to go
I
fast with it.
I agree. IO has definitely made me feel a lot more comfortable with these things, especially with the rebalance of weapons. There's a lot more weapons in IO, I think, that can carry a run.
Hmm.
As well, mostly evident in the runs that I did for Power Up with Pride and GDQ, which both of them got accepted to. Power Up with Pride, technically, I got accepted as a backup runner. That's kind of a thing that is done for marathon events because
Hmm.
we
Somebody can
have
just not show up.
yeah, somebody we did have, sometimes there are people that even no show to GDQ. I think MacBack 64 was a run that got a no show a couple years ago, I think. It just happens. And
Yeah.
then sometimes, real life happens. People get injuries and or not, or life happens basically, and they're not able to make it. That's technically what happened. That got Power Pride's accepting or put Star of Providence in for Power Pride, which was I think about a month before GDQ itself.
Mhm. And that was also fun to do.
It was quite fun.
So one thing I was curious. I wanted to ask you for the show is what's it like to be like okay, and my couch co-commentator is Pure Question, the developer of the game. What's it like? How do you feel the dynamic is between you and Pure when you're in this runner and commentator sort of situation?
Pure and I have kind of like a report, a very
Hmm.
good like we bounce between each other quite well, and that's specifically because we both kind of have similar like personality. We're both ADHD basically. We both have kind of like that low key joke kind of thing going on between each other.
Hmm.
He's he's great. He's great. But that's typically why I like to pick Pure as one of my co-commentators. I was only able to do one developer co-commentator online because the specific rules for in-person events is basically that. You can you don't they don't really allow online co-commentators
Hmm.
Mhm.
except in developer cases,
Oh, okay.
which helped me a lot.
I mean,
I'm
it
hope
makes sense. Like these are people who are very relevant for the game, but
Mhm.
like for whatever, they can just be in completely different countries. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
for them specifically, you can kind of be okay. We'll let you do, but like
Mhm.
it just makes sense from a practical. Like a lot
Yeah.
of decisions GDQ does are based on practical concerns, and you just have to
Exactly.
be like,
Mhm.
sorry, that's just how it is.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for it. Like, $2.4 million is no slouch, and they do it almost every time,
Twice
um,
a year.
twice a year. Um, and then even some in between, like I think I don't remember if Back to Black, which is a black focused speedrunning event. I think they have done charity marathons as well for black specific issues. Um, Also, a great speedrunning event to attend. I would highly recommend checking them out, Back to Black, as well as Frame Fatales, which is a women or femme focused event.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. We'll link both of those organizations in the
yes.
show notes.
Mm-hmm.
I think next time Pure commentates, if he's not there in person, we should have somebody on the couch in a green hoodie with like a faceless plate.
Yeah,
No one
this
will
time,
know.
yeah, the for GDQ it was really funny. Game and Shout, like from the backstage, like out of nowhere came running in with the big plush, the big Piku Muku plush,
Uh-huh.
which was one of their prizes, and decided out of nowhere, like, okay, we're just gonna stick Piku Muku on the little
Oh
couch
yeah,
behind
I was
me.
wondering about that. I was like, why is that like Pure's favorite Pokemon? Like,
No, it was one of the prizes, and we decided, yeah, sure, we'll put it there. It
that's
was really
fun.
funny. From what I've been told, that's kind of a thing between them and RPG Spielman, since they've got similar staff
Mhm.
from those. So a lot of the report and jokes
Mm-hmm.
and energy kind of bounces between those two events.
Mm. Yeah, you mentioned your rapport with Pure, and like there were
Hmm.
a few inside jokes that I thought were really funny that you
Hmm.
guys made together. Like, Lilac, when you were like, "I'll take your upgrade" when you were choosing a blessing,
Yes.
and I think for everyone in the community, these moments were really fun. Other people probably didn't know what was going on, but I was just like, oh. Also, Pure saying this boss is definitely very cool and handsome, which is funny because on two levels, because it's him, but also
Hmm.
it's like a faceless boss.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my favorite one that I laughed out loud at, Lilac, was when you're like, "You're not letting me shortcut," because you kept running into Pure rooms,
Yeah.
and I was like, I just thought that was so funny. I laughed, and then when I thought about how like no one would, they're like, "What? Why are they blaming the dev for not letting them shortcut?"
Well, it kind of makes a sense. It's like, oh, the dev coded it. It's his fault
Hmm.
that it's not working out for
Yeah.
me. You
Yes,
just
that's
need
true,
the
but there's a deeper level
addition.
to it,
Hmm.
Yes.
and just the use of like using shortcut as a verb. I don't know. I love that
Hmm.
phrase. You're not letting me shortcut.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Taylor, you can tell us, but like after the run, I think you got several people to be like, "That looked really cool. I should try
Yeah.
that game out."
Yeah. Multiple people backstage, as well as people that I met through the event over time, over the past couple of days before my run. They're like, "Hey, this looks pretty cool," and
Hmm.
checking it out. I think someone in the YouTube comments even said like they saw like the first 30 seconds and they were like, "I'll get this game,"
Hmm.
which was really nice. And then I got lots of compliments about the game. So.
yeah. I was gonna say I think that you like in that aspect you totally achieved the goal of spreading the game further,
Hmm.
sharing this game with people. There was a comment on Blue Sky somebody posted on the Star of Providence feed over there.
Hmm.
They said maybe I'll buy Zero Ranger one of these days or Star of Providence after that SGDQ run. And I saw that, I
Hmm.
was like, yes. It's cool to see like so many people were exposed to that game because of this, and
Hmm.
that's really awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm very glad about that, and I'm really like again, like I said, it's an honor to run a speed run for such a huge charity event, and thank you to everybody who had donated to that as well. It's a good cause. It's a very good cause.
And also, I want to point out that uh, part of why I emphasize so much, like, oh, Taylor was like representing the community, is because they very graciously at the end did a huge list of shout outs to a lot of community members.
I
So,
had a list. Mhm.
yeah. And it was like very thorough and very well thought out. And it was just
Mhm.
delightful and wonderful. And it made us, it felt like you were carrying us there. And it
Mhm.
was just, we're very grateful for it. It was delightful.
Mhm. Yeah. And then another thing that I wanted to emphasize is that for GDQ, to be on the stage, this is probably the first time that I've ever publicly like shown my face.
Yes, but I feel like out of all of the things that happened, that was kind of the least relevant. Like, yes, we can put a face to this name and this voice, but like, the important thing is that you were there, you showed the game, and
Yeah, but like,
I think but Lila, because your point that for you that was a big
huge.
part of it. Yeah.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
enormous. Like, this is like before I transitioned, this is going a little bit personal, but before I transitioned, I was always very ambivalent, and I never really liked showing my face um, to a lot of people because I was never really like happy with my appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started transitioning and getting to the face that you see right now on the GDQ screen, it was a huge process. And for the first time, I actually felt comfortable showing my face.
That is
you,
Um,
awesome.
you feel
and
like the transition gave you a confidence boost about the way you look.
mhm, yeah, and the compliments that I got for my appearance were extremely good. I think I was hanging out with a couple people, and they actually didn't clock me as trans. Like, that's how different I am now.
Wow.
um,
I mean, I kind of suspected that you would show up with the leather jacket. That one, I was
oh
like, okay,
yes,
that one's probably going to be in there.
oh yeah, absolutely. I told people like, you can't miss me. I'm the one with the leather jacket, the leather fingerless gloves, and my Kirby backpack. I am unmistakable, and Game and Chat actually said that looks iconic. So
Nice.
Very
Yeah,
good.
no,
and
that's great, Lilac. I'm
mhm,
glad that it was a really good experience for you. And I know like I said, I just rewatched the VOD this morning, and you look so happy. Like, it looks like you're having just such a great time, and
mhm.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, my Taekwondo teacher always commented that I'm extremely expressive,
Mm-hmm.
to both my benefit and detriment. Um, and that's been kind of more and more noticeable as I've transitioned. That
Mhm.
I'm a lot more energetic, at least on screen and all that.
So one question I have is, like, this has not been confirmed yet, but there is, as we're recording, an idea to do something for PAX West.
Yes, I have submitted. I loved GDQ so much, and I had already planned on going to PAX West because Pierre was going to PAX West, and I was like, sure. I have the money to do that right now. I still got a lot of my savings still to do another like second mini vacation, and I decided I'm just going to go to PAX West. And since I was doing that, I was like, oh, GDQ has a panel at PAX West, and they just opened up submissions, at least for the in person. It's going to be in person basically, so I'll be
Mhm.
on the stage again. So I decided to submit a couple of runs. I submitted the run that didn't get accepted for GDQ, um, which was an F7 seated with Tier 4 Temple.
Do they have more time here to do these things?
I don't think so. It's going to be from like 1 p.m. to midnight um, Pacific time. So a little bit less time, but I know that a lot of the smaller events kind of have less people submitting to them, especially like PAX West because it's the West Coast. It's expensive. Um, Traveling there is rough. I was looking at the hotel fees, and I was like, that'll take a chunk out of my saving. But
Better split the bill there.
better split the bill. But yeah, so I've submitted that. I've also submitted a much shorter, like 20-minute F4% run.
Mhm.
To explain it, 4%. That's tier 4 temple with prisoner.
Mhm.
So
Cool. And like, okay, so PAX West is something that is like planned, and like if they accept it, you're gonna be there and gonna do that. And I'm sure you will let us know, hey, this day, this hour, come watch me do
yep.
the thing if it gets accepted. But beyond this event that's waiting confirmation, do you have any future ambitions or dreams or plans to showcase the game more, or to do different categories, or like maybe see if you can get different people to be in commentary with you, anything like that?
Yeah, where do you go from here?
Where do I go from here? So one of my biggest goals next is to try and do a mock sprint event, um, basically like an exhibition
Mhm.
run, whatever kind. I don't really care too much, and the most likely is going to be either one of two things. If next year, if someone is going to be able to be in person for GDQ, then we could submit a race then. Or better is to submit it to a GDQ hotfix. Hotfix is kind of their mini shows, basically, that they do over the week. I always had trouble getting onto those hotfix shows because they were usually at 7 p.m. until like midnight, which is way past my bedtime. But they've knocked back some of the times basically to 1 p.m. So I could submit a mock sprint race to that. And the advantage of online events is that you don't have to be in person, so anybody can submit to an online event. There are so many events. Like you go to the Oengus board, there are events that you can just submit to, and it's amazing how many there are out there. I follow a bunch of them.
Mhm.
All right.
What is that resource? What board? I'm
Um,
sorry.
Oengus. I will type it.
Oh yeah, because I would like to. I don't know about that, and I'd like to link to that as well.
Yeah, it's called owengus.io. It shows um, all sorts of marathons, like upcoming marathon submissions that are opened for certain ones.
Hmm.
Um, there are a lot.
Mm.
Um,
Awesome.
Okay. Well, if it can be done virtually, then maybe I can like I don't think I can show up in person, but I can still help you organize it and commentate
yes.
it. It's like I think it's I will say it, like at this point, Taylor and I also have a bit of a rapport when it comes to like talking about this
Yes.
game and doing things like this, which
Mhm.
I'm again. Taylor's a lovely person, and a great commentator, and a great runner, and all that stuff.
Thank you.
There's several reasons why we're good friends.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question that I wanted to
Mhm.
ask because the Arms Master ship. So I did donate, and
Yes.
I put my donation towards Arms Master because in my mind, Arms Master has always been connected to you, Lilac, and
Yeah.
I think that's because there is some sort of origin story that I'm not 100% clear on. But also because of the color, of course.
Yes.
I've always been like, oh, that's the lilac ship. But could you, to jog my memory, and for listeners
Mhm.
that may not know, could you comment on like Arms Master's origin and what role
Yes.
you played there?
So long time ago, I think like years and years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we did fan ships, and my idea for a fan ship was called Twin Sticks, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
which was a ship that would switch between or have two weapons basically. And
Hmm.
I think I pinged Pure and I was like, "Is this like if I were to mod this into the game, would this be viable?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. In fact, we could just do that right now." And he just took the idea and was like, "Sure, we'll do that." So that Armsmaster wound up being the spare ship for that. And then the ship design wasn't one by one because Alex found a better design for it, basically. Um, and we kept the purple
I
Yeah.
for
will point out
the core.
one thing that maybe you don't remember is like first of all, I think when you did like sketches of what in your head it looked like, it was visitor
Mhm.
number 5, not number 2.
Yes, it was
But
number
also,
5.
it like the cost, like you had the idea of like, okay, it's like Taylor has done a lot of Gijinkas over time, so
Mhm.
like the idea of representing these ships as people is like
Yes.
not just something that What If does. Is like Taylor has also done it, but the costume was like an World War II style fighter pilot.
Yes. World War II style fighter pilot.
With like the goggles and everything and
Mhm.
the jacket.
Yep.
That unfortunately was not preserved, but like I think I still have some of the old sketches in
Yeah.
my hard drive. And like so Taylor is in some sense responsible for the creation of
Mhm.
Armsmaster. And to be fair, a lot of people really enjoy Armsmaster.
Yes.
I love Armsmaster, and
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I was so glad that that's what got picked. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm throwing my
Yeah.
money at Armsmaster. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know Lilac basically helped bring this ship into existence, and it's
Mhm.
purple, like, and I just
Yeah.
I love Armsmaster as a
Mhm.
character, like the fact that they're in the gauntlet, you
Yeah.
know, and they basically like just get swole,
Yeah,
they
basically.
change. It's very cool.
Mhm. Yeah, my thought process behind that, because another like additional thing for events is to do bid wars and goals, milestone goals. Like
Mhm.
if you watch the Deltarune milestone goal was like I think 2.3 million. They would do chapters 3 and 4, which was met. That there's always smaller goals in between the events, and I did 4 ships, and kind of half the reason why I did that, and that was mostly at the recommendation from previous events from Amber, saying that it's always better to like condense your bid war so
Mhm.
that you can have a bit more of like a war basically going on.
Mhm.
So I picked 4 ships because 4 is like the magic number. I decided to pick Null,
Mhm.
default ship, of course, and then I picked the
Sword.
sword ship, which is a ship that you unlock in like after the end. And then I picked Arena Blaster because that was the ship that was introduced in Relics of the Past, and Arms Master, which was introduced into Oblivion.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was kind of suitable in a way to have
Yeah.
the 4 unique ships from each update.
Mm-hmm. That was actually a genius detail. Actually really cool. Thank you very much. I know like the host, whoever was hosting at the time, was really pushing for swordship.
Yeah, I recommended that. I was like, yeah, is there any preference? And I'm like, I like the sword ship. I like swords. um, but yeah, Cartridge Blowers nailed it as a host.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It
Mhm.
was the whole crew did an excellent job.
Yes. Hmm.
Lilac, was there any moment in the run itself for you that was the most exciting?
Or the most
Um,
memorable.
Yeah, yeah.
the fact that I was able to just decide, hey, screw it, we'll go to Temple. Um,
That was very cool.
yeah, that was just a flex on my end. I keep an eye on the time. I had at 25 minutes, which was kind of like tight-ish,
Mhm.
especially with how rough it's been
Mhm.
trying to get my times down, especially when I have so many weapons opened up and I'm not able to reset.
Mhm.
So a lot of my attempts have been like no reset attempts, which is good
Mhm.
Mhm.
for a
A
unseated
live
run.
event. You just gotta do
Yeah,
whatever what the game
yeah,
gives you.
yeah,
I like the bit where you find Ace, you say hi, you just come up and say hi, and you just leave. I was kind of half hoping you'd show Gauntlet, but I realized okay, no, they're under a time limit, but it was still
yeah.
fun.
If I had been a little bit faster and I had a better weapon,
Mm.
um, I probably would have been able to show off Gauntlet, but Gauntlet is about like a minute or 2 of
Yeah.
the time, and I think I ran it like 23 minutes at the end, which is a bit slow, especially for a run where I got freaking Spyglass.
Hmm.
That was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Um, that was absolutely crazy, but
Amazing start.
mhm.
The moment I stopped breathing was when you found the breach stone, and I was like,
I
Yeah.
was
No.
so hoping.
oh, and then
I
yeah,
was hoping.
No.
I was hoping.
it was a it was like an instant high and then an instant letdown, but
Yeah.
it was still a cool moment for me.
That still doesn't stop the fact that Trespasser did technically appear on the GDQ stage, because if I remember correctly, during our race with Kyloria, Trespasser did appear, which
Oh,
was
Yes.
absolutely hype. I will get the link to that run so that
Hmm.
you can show
Link
that,
it.
because that was also an extremely hype
I
run.
think
is
I
that
think
the
we can.
frame fatales?
Yes, for
Yes,
frame
I think we
protocol.
can link all of the runs we've mentioned so far, like
Yes.
Yeah,
the original GDQ, Frame Fatales, Power Up with Pride, Fast Paced Events, etc., etc.
hmm
All right,
absolutely.
excellent. Uh,
I can always give tips on for people who want to show off this game or show off any game,
okay,
tips and tricks basically
That
on
would be
because
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
go
because
for it.
I've worked I have done games committee for fast-paced events before, so basically pooling from my knowledge and from the tips that Amber Cyprian has uh, has gifted to me. Shout out to Amber Cyprian, amazing person. But basically, if you want to submit this run to an event, just submit to as many events as you can. I submit to a lot less because I have a lot less time.
Hmm.
But if you have the time and if you have the availability, submit to as many as you can. Another tip is, like I mentioned before, to submit a longer run and have a more detailed, basically, like here's the mechanics and yada yada yada, and then submit a shorter run. I've done this with both Jiki's Chase and Star of Providence, and I think for the first Jiki's Chase run, I think it was it a 7,500-meter run?
Yes.
Yes. But for Power Up with Pride, I think that run went so well, and another person was running so far behind that we just like inadvertently decided, hey, we'll just do all characters, and that worked.
Hmm.
But yeah, submit a longer run, and you don't. There's no barrier to entry
Hmm.
Hmm.
as long as you have a good internet connection, as long as you have good recording for OBS, as long as you have a decent mic,
Hmm.
you can submit.
Yeah, and even if you yourself are not like don't feel like you're very charismatic or entertaining, you can just ask one, hey, can you like come to the event for me? Can you be on the couch or the virtual couch and just
Mhm.
like be the one who's talking and telling people what's going on?
Yeah, and that's what I do. Like, I always make sure that I have a commentator on my runs.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you sharing that advice.
Mhm,
I know I would be interested in showing a game I love like this, and I hope
mhm.
that that can. I'm sure that that'll be really useful for people that want to do this. Let's get more people in the community doing it. Let's follow.
Exactly.
Lilac has hoisted the banner.
Yeah,
Let's follow.
and you don't even have to be that good of a speedrunner. Like, you don't need to be a world record holder to
Mm-hmm.
do one. As long as you have good speed runs, as long as you're consistent, submit.
And I'd be happy for people to consider sprint event as kind of like a way to become more comfortable with doing all that with like,
Mhm,
oh, I'm doing fast and I'm also streaming and people are watching and learning from commentary. Okay, how do you keep the pace interesting? How do you
mhm.
keep talking? Obviously it's not quite the same as
Yeah,
GDQ, but it's a start.
yeah. The only way that I got good at doing marathon events, doing commentary, was just to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lilac, thank you so much for coming back on the show and talking to us about your experience in GDQ. Congratulations again, and thank you for representing the community in such an awesome way.
Yeah, and thank you.
Yeah, it's always a delight to get to talk to you, whether it's like here personally or doing commentary. It's Taylor is such a fantastic community member. I could not think of a better representative, a better all around just nice, capable, and wholesome person. So I am extremely proud of you, and I'm extremely glad that you were the one on stage doing this.
Thank you. It has been this is a highlight. Besides next week for me.
Well, yeah, of course. And Taylor or Lilac, where can people find you? Where, if people want to follow what you're doing, where should they go?
I will probably get back to streaming once I move. You will find me at Lilac Olligoci, twitch.tv/Lilac Olligoci. You can find me at Lilac Olligoci on Blue Sky. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
basically, if you just Google the name Lilac Olligoci, you will find me because that's an inherently unique name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I tend to post on my Blue Sky if I am streaming, or occasionally I'll post my art. I'm busy with Art Fight this year, so yeah.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening to our Star of Providence fan cast. Big thanks as always to Garoslaw and AlexMdle for allowing us to use their music and sound effects in the podcast. Our intro music was made for us by Garo, and we love it so much. Thanks, Garo.
Mhm. You can find all of the Relics of the Past soundtrack over at Garo's Bandcamp. Volume 1, which is After the End, Volume 2, which is Relics of the Past and Into Oblivion, and the 5th Anniversary Edition soundtrack. Thank you so much, Garo. We love you.
If you have any comments or suggestions for the show, you can reach out to us on our Discord server. We'll post the server link in the show notes.
And there you will find fellow pilots to talk with and discuss the show. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us next time.
This is what you came for, isn't it?
So be it.